Hello, I'm unkept, and welcome back to the Minecraft update news video. Today I have a huge amount of news to share with you all, and it's very exciting because we not only have two separate Minecraft Bedrock updates to talk about, 1.12 and 1.13, which I'm going to be playing and talking about in today's video because it is out in beta right now. Then we also have some very exciting kind of leaks regarding Minecraft PlayStation 4 officially, switching over to Bedrock. We've seen internal game codes, we've seen external game things, which indicate that's happening very, very shortly, and it's very, very intriguing. And also, we have Jeb's response to the combat update feedback, because if you don't know, Jeb have released an unofficial Minecraft, Java snapshot, which had, the brand new combat changes in there, and basically he's responded to everyone's responses to that update, and I thought it was kind of interesting, so we're going to be sharing all of those things and more in today's video, which I hope you all do enjoy. You can like this video if you do like it, because it helps out the channel, and let's know you do like the Minecraft update news video, where we dive into pretty much everything that's happened all in one big place. So with that said, let's try and get through everything today. We'll start with Minecraft Bedrock Beta 1.13.0.1. If you know, at the top of the screen, you'll see that we're actually playing that right now. This is a brand new version of the Bedrock Beta, available to anyone enrolled in the Bedrock Beta program. So that's only Windows 10 Android users that are enrolled in that particular program, but it means that it's kind of the snapshot equivalent for Minecraft Bedrock, and it's a really interesting snapshot equivalent because this brand new snapshot adds foxes and it adds structure blocks. There's also a lot of under the hood changes to map making features mostly, as well as, some more noticeable ones, such as the hand animation has changed, which in my opinion is something to do with combat. We'll talk about that later. So there's lots of changes in this update, but you might question like, so wait a minute, we're on 1.11 right now, what happened to 1.12? So if you don't follow betas, then 1.12 has been in beta for quite some time now. That update is going to be coming out fairly shortly, and we've had that confirmed by this tweet right here, where 1.12 is in the last stages before it comes out for everyone. It's not a particularly exciting update, I wouldn't say, like in terms of like, it doesn't add foxes, it doesn't add structure blocks or anything sexy or exciting like that, but what it does add to the game is it adds some brand new, bug fixes, as well as just a few preference tweaks, which you might appreciate when it comes out, and I'll cover that when it happens on this channel. But 1.12 is happening soon, and 1.13 is here if you're on Minecraft Bedrock. So yeah, long story short, what's in this update? I mean, it can be described by just looking at this fox right here and being like, yeah, look, foxes, they be in this update. They're even going to swim in a river if you push them gently into it. But no, yeah, so foxes are in this update. They're super cute. All of their Java behavior is in here. You might say, wait a minute, Toycat, foxes were a village and pillage feature. Why are you saying they've just been added now? So Minecraft Bedrock is missing a few village and pillage features to this day, and some of those are the foxes, for instance, which hadn't been added just yet, but as of this update, they will be added. And the reason for this is because Bedrock seems to have developed village and pillage a little bit slower because they do other things at the same time, and yeah, basically foxes have only just come to the game at this point. So foxes are not just a orange mob that you can find in most biomes. This is where you'll see most of your foxes in your taiga biomes when you spawn them by default, but also, if you're lucky enough to have a fox spawn into a snowy taiga biome, then you'll find one of these adorable little snow foxes. They're like a fun little variant of the fox that not many people know about. I guess if you're watching this video, you probably do. But yeah, it's a really handy thing. Also, it's worth mentioning, if there are chickens nearby foxes, they do their cute pounces. All of their behavior, including picking up spawn eggs, for instance, you'll actually see all of that is found here. So if we spawn in a bunch of foxes right here, then they're all going to go to sleep apparently. But they can put things inside of their mouths if they're not asleep and doing their thing. So yeah, fun fact, foxes can you can not only spawn with things in their mouth, they can pick up pretty much anything, including your diamonds. There's a whole fun thing to do with that. But yeah, watch out for foxes stealing your diamonds if you leave them on the ground, although you probably shouldn't be leaving foxes on the ground anyway. But yeah, two types of foxes, very cute. We could talk about this forever, but it's not the main point of today's video, because it's more kind of catching up than it is new exciting ground. Like, you can play with foxes on Java right now, and it's something that was just kind of like delayed and is now here. It's exciting, but let's be honest, foxes aren't exactly like major village and pillage gameplay features. They're more like, cute things you can find in the tigers. But things that you might really appreciate if you're the sort of person who dives into the depth of stuff are the other changes in this update. So we got the structure block, and we've also got changes to the way chat works. So I'll talk about the chat ones first, because they're fairly simple. The chat has now a settings icon, and you can change the font only between two, Noto Sans and Mojangles. I mean, personally, I like Mojangles, but Noto Sans is more, space efficient. And then also you can decide the size of that. So if you're vision impaired, again, they're making some real strides towards accessibility for people, which I think is overall a good thing, right? And then you can also work on line spacing. So to show you how this one works, I guess we'll type a bunch of things at 10 times. But yeah, basically, if you have this problem where too much chat blurs together, then, you say some words, and now you can see, like, cat you can see there's a big gap between them, whereas the default line spacing, the one that was by before this update, the only one you could have, was 1. So somewhere between those two, you might find a happy space that allows you to not have meshes blurred together. And also we have a brand new font. Also we have size of font, so you can do this if you really want to. And yeah, now my 3 words have taken up the entirety of the chat, it seems. But yeah, that's what you can do. As of this update, it's a fun little thing. Again, it's accessibility, it's hard to disagree with. You can also change the color of your text. You can change your mention color, which is kind of fun. And also, this was available in the options previously, but you can use text-to-speech. So now when we do the exact same thing, there's going to be a narrator, which is going to say, like, you know...
Unkept says D.
Those are the lyrics to Sandstorm by Darude, in case you're curious. Very high quality. But yeah, you can type anything you want, and if you want, on your side, you can make it, you know, like actually say things. So hello, I'm IBX Toycat. There's no apostrophe. Hopefully it can still pronounce it.
Says hello, IBX Toycat.
Okay, they can't pronounce I'm without the apostrophe. Well, now we know, I guess. Anyway, so yeah, text speed. There's a lot more text abilities, which personally, again, it's good for accessibility, and also you might just like having red text. So I think it's a good change overall. It's hard to really hate it. And now you know they've changed the text. They've also made it so that you can autofill commands. Again, not particularly huge for most people, but if you're saying /TP at all and then to yourself, you can just tab to that, tab to that, tab to that. Basically, yeah, they've made it a bit easier to do commands, which is something that is overall a good thing. So yeah, let's talk about the structure block now, because the structure block is something really interesting. It's hidden half behind the brand new, like the experimental gameplay toggle, which means that we can actually show you what it used to work as and how it's going to work off this update. Because the structure block is a 1.11 feature from Java, but it hasn't been on Bedrock for the longest time, and we question, like, is it ever going to be? Because they used it on Bedrock for a very different purpose, and that purpose was for this 3D export. You could export things into the world template thing, and it's a really, you could export things into your folder. You could have them as a physical file. You can't do it inside someone else's world, apparently. That's a thing I've just learned right now. But yeah, you could have whatever size area you want. You could take the entire thing, and as you can see right here, we can now have this entire little world, kind of, like Minecraft Earth style, and we could export that. I'm assuming actually, because of the similarities there was something to do with that game. That was the reason for this. But yeah, now you know, this is no longer just a 3D export tool, because if we go into experimental gameplay, which the game literally tells you here, you have to go into that to use this. So make sure to turn on this toggle, which gives your, world the EX tag. It makes a duplicate. This is basically because it might crash your world, and they don't want to have your, major worlds be crashed and never be able to be, come back from.
Return.
Oh, we didn't turn off the narrator. But yeah, now that we've got experimental gameplay turned on, now we can not only, do this if we want to, we can save that, but we can save this entire area. We can call it the, I don't know, is this a school? It's a bit like a playground, right? We can call it the school area. Wait, if we maybe have an offset of 10 here, we can make it a bit more of the playground. There we go. Okay, that's terrible. That's so much worse. But yeah, we can actually, if we want to, we can then save this area. So we'll press save right there. It's now saved inside there. And then we want to load things. There's my structure.school, which means that if we really want to, we can go over here, for instance, right in the middle of the ocean. Again, this isn't going to look good, but it's a good example of how this functions. So we go right over here, and then we load up our little thing. Or maybe even better if we just put this way into the sky, 20 blocks up. Then we can take this exact same thing and we can duplicate it way in the sky. And apparently there's a lot of concrete and water and stuff. But you can see we took this chunk down here and we duplicated it up to there. We can do this with way bigger, example sizes, for instance. If we want, we can save, again, let's take another command block in another area. So we can take, for instance, this yatched over here. Again, that's definitely how you say it, 100% truth. We can take this yatched and be like, okay, we're gonna have a 25 over there. We're gonna have this go up to 9. We're going to have this go to, I don't know, 10 or something. And what you can actually do with that, if we did that correctly, okay, it's still not big enough. We're going to go for 45 blocks that way. Try and get the entirety of the boat in here. Then we're going to go a little bit higher on the Y. And you can basically take your entire structure, again, as long as it's within a square box. And as long as you do things right, you can end up with a perfect copy of it over here, which we can now move wherever we want. Look at that. We've got almost, minus the roof, actually. Should we just go all the way up to the sky? There we go. Look at that. We've now got this yatched perfectly copied here. We can save this as yatched again. Look at how that's spelt. That's how you know it's pronounced yatch. And we can now load that structure, but we can offset it somewhere really, we can put it in the sky if we want to. We can just put it further back this way, minus I guess 25 blocks. And now, just like that, what you're going to notice is there is a perfect duplicate of my yatched over here. And yeah, it's really handy for copy pasting specific areas. The problem is the slash fill command and the slash clone command already kind of does this. This is just a user-friendly interface, but it's not really meant to be user-friendly because you have to, give your, it's not available at the creative inventory. So the exact purpose of this is slightly less clear, maybe because you can save and copy multiple different structures at the same time. Maybe there's some value that some map makers really get from this that they can't get from the clone command. But yeah, you can basically take anything you want to, including giant boats, and you can put them anywhere, including, here's the best bit, if we want to, we can put this 50 blocks up in the sky. Nothing's gonna stop me. That's right, it's a sky yacht. Oh, the water probably should have stopped me. But that's right, we have a floating yacht because that is how we live our life. And yeah, the structure block allows this. It's a pretty cool feature, honestly. But here's my deal with this, because the structure block, which I would argue is a map-making feature, is not the only map-making feature in this update. There are a bunch of other map-making features. If you look at the changelog, it's like foxes, coordinates, persistent component for mob persistence, and then new and improved structure blocks. Those are the features for not map makers. Then there's a huge list, and I really want to dive into and talk about that. And I've got a little bit of a problem with that. But before we dive into the the negative news, I guess, let's dive into all of the much more exciting stuff. Because in this same update, in 1.13.0.1, we've also seen some very interesting, let's call them leaks, because they're hidden within the game files that indicate Minecraft PlayStation 4 and its Bedrock status. So yeah, if you're curious as to what those little leaks are, basically in the language files, there's a lot of references to PlayStation Network connections in the same way that Minecraft Nintendo Switch references the Nintendo Network. It seems as though there are now references to the PlayStation Network. Also, at the exact same time, it's like by the way, it's called Project Bedrock, and there's a lot of like, oh yeah, you're on PlayStation, your friends can't join you. It seems like they're either testing, Minecraft PlayStation 4, for Bedrock or something like that. And the thing that really confirms this to me, because by itself, it's like, oh yeah, they could be testing it could have been an accident. This combined with the fact that the PlayStation 4 buttons have been in the game code for quite some time now, and then that combined with the fact that on the same day, you can see that the ESRB website has updated to show that there's now 2 Minecraft PlayStation 4s. There's Minecraft PlayStation 4 edition, published by Sony, as in 4J Sony, they worked on a thing together, and then there's a Minecraft, without the PS4 edition, tag, just Minecraft, in the same way Minecraft Bedrock calls it, just like this, Minecraft, and then it's published by Microsoft, which is how Minecraft Bedrock is. So it seems as though, you can call me crazy, but it seems a lot to me like Minecraft PlayStation 4 has officially worked out a way to come to Bedrock. I don't know if this is in a cross-platform state or not because of the confusing state of the language files. I would almost have to certainly imagine that it is. But yeah, it seems as though maybe Sony and Microsoft got rid of their disagreements. They worked out a compromise. They worked out some solution that works for both of them. And it seems as though there might just be a version of Minecraft Bedrock coming to PlayStation 4. This is something that I know is going to split the PlayStation 4 community hugely. A lot of people are really hyped for Bedrock coming to PS4. Again, it's the version that is most played on all the other platforms. PS4 has kind of been left on its own for some time, and there are going to be some people who are sad that this is the last 4J platform remaining. When this goes, there will be no more console edition of Minecraft. So it's kind of like a bittersweet thing, welcoming the PS4 players, and a lot of PlayStation 4 players want to be welcomed, but also it's going to be the end of an edition of Minecraft, for better or for worse. You can, there's a lot of interesting things to be said for that, which is probably why 4J, by the way, as a result of that, has been working on things like this mashup pack that I've been touring, and obviously I'm touring it in default textures, so things look a bit weird. But yeah, just an interesting little bit of news that maybe you thought was interesting. And just in case you don't think that's interesting, just in case you're just too fussy and you think, I don't care about PlayStation 4, I play on a PC or an Xbox or a Switch, and those PlayStation 4 guys, they just don't understand us good people. And one, I mean, that's a very confusing stance to have. And 2, we have a direct response now from Jeb, who is of course the lead developer in Minecraft and has been for the last 5 or 6 years now. Basically, Jeb decided to respond to the combat update changes. So I went over the brief story of this earlier, but basically there is a secret snapshot that was released to allow people to test out the brand new combat changes. He posted it on Reddit to get a feel for the Minecraft community's response to this. I post my own video, my own feedback, I post my own comment, my own feedback, and he's decided to give at least a little bit of a response. So let me go through one by one all of the things that Jeb has said about the new combat, because this is going to affect how the combat update does eventually come out. So he says that, in response to people saying auto attack is too easy, that he wants to keep the function there for accessibility reasons. Again, accessibility seems to be a big thing with Minecraft for a lot of reasons. I guess it's a game which is played by a huge diverse audience, being the biggest game in the world, they feel like they want to do more for, again, accessibility needs of all different types, and they feel like auto, attack is a fun part of that, which somewhat makes sense to me. I mean, obviously I would say never unbalance your combat system just for accessibility, but he's basically saying it's not just for accessibility, it's also something that makes sense, and we can turn it off by default, and also it's important for controllers. So yeah, I thought it was really interesting that, again, Jeb's actually caring about controllers there. Hopefully this is the indication that controller support might be coming like native to Java soon. That's a thing that I believe has been missing for quite some time now, but at the very least it's like for Bedrock, where consoles are natively supported, it'd be a nice little change to see, in my opinion. Then we've got this second thing he mentions right here, that PvE is too strong / easy, and a lot of people have been criticizing the fact that auto attack makes that far too easy, and he basically says in a lot of words that he's balancing for PvP right now, and that PvE obviously he can balance using mob armor and stuff like that later. It would take a long time, but it's something he wants to do. So he's saying that PvP is too easy because right now it's based around not having auto attack, and that he definitely fixed that. So that makes sense to me. You can attack while crouching behind a shield, and that's meant to be there to mimic Bedrock functionality. But then when you attack, you're not meant to be able to use it. Basically, they want the Bedrock shield, like the way shields work on Bedrock, to be on Java, which is an interesting little change right there. Then he addresses a couple of other bugs, and then the final one here, I think this is really important. For a bunch of people who say like, there's no real combat update unless it goes back to 1.8, but the truth is, if you like 1.8 combat, 1.8's always there. The goal of modern day Minecraft is to improve and do better than 1.8, Again, if you like the past is always in the same place, but they want to move combat forward in a better way than that, and that's why he says that the best way to succeed for that was to stay in 1.8. I just thought that was a really witty zing, like, yeah, I'll show you for asking for it in that way. But then also we had something interesting where Jeb actually responded directly on Discord to someone, so right here you can see they responded to a person whose name, like, what even is that name? How do you even begin to say that out loud? But this person, who has an incomprehensible name, says, why did they nerf tridents? It's weaker than an iron axe now, and Jeb says because it got better range. And that's the goal of the new combat update, to give a purpose to everything, including hoes, which I thought is kind of odd, and including tridents in the new combat. And again, it's yet to be seen how this will really affect like the PvP communities, the servers, the stuff like that, but it's interesting to see them really try in this particular way. It's interesting to see that the new combat is something they really want to put a lot of effort into. They really want to make it great, and that's something that will hopefully see when it comes out. But again, there's a lot of changes that need to be made and that hopefully will be made. And the auto attack thing, I'm hoping they're gonna, nerf it to be some amount. Jeb didn't directly say they're gonna do it yet, but all you have to do is make auto attack 10% slower than the fastest you can manually click, and then boom, all of a sudden there's a reason to want to manually click. It's kind of like auto jump, where like auto jump allows you to climb upstairs faster than not auto jump, and therefore you have a disadvantage for doing the thing that takes more effort in some ways. But PvP is obviously way more important than jumping. Like I don't care too much about losing that small advantage on stairs to keep the autonomy of doing it. But in combat, autonomy is way less important than effectiveness. In combat, damage per second and damage in general is king, and that is why I think they really need to fix that. But yeah, overall, that is the news today. We've got 2 brand new Bedrock updates, one of which kind of leaks to us, the news regarding PlayStation 4. We've got Jeb's response to the combat, and finally, I wanted to dive into something that is kind of personal to me, because the reason we checked out Superflat yesterday was because I was reminded of how cool they were recently because of the combat video, and I wanted to like kind of talk about that. Then coincidentally at the same time, one of my pet peeves came up, which is honestly, okay, so this is, I'm going to have this little section at the end here, kind of dedicated as like a message directly to any Minecraft community managers or whoever is making the decisions as to what features go on what update. I know that's a very big, high-end task, but here's the deal, right? So when Minecraft console was absorbed into Minecraft Bedrock, there are some benefits, there are some downsides, and the idea was, oh yeah, every single downside of switching from console to Bedrock, we're going to fix that. Custom Superflats, I can see why you want those features. It might take a few more months to put in there than, say, just adding bone blocks was, but the goal was bring parity from console to Bedrock and then make Bedrock better. That was always the stated goal, and although they can do some things like Furnace Minecart, they always intended to do things like Amplified and like custom Superflats. And so there was kind of the promise was basically, we'll get all these features going in there, and we'll do it kind of soon. That was in the 1.2 update. It's 1.13. We have not seen a single sign of custom Superflat. We haven't seen like an in development, like, this is going to take a few months, it's a big feature. We haven't seen a single thing about it. Even the super duper graphics pack, which of course, like, you know, it's a big controversial one. They don't want to talk about it. Even that, where they're kind of, you know, you're kind of hiding what you're talking about there for obvious reasons. Even that particular thing, we get an update every 3 to 4 months. Like, oh yeah, we're working on a new graphics pipeline first. Oh yeah, the new graphics pipeline is called the Render Dragon. We see some news about that every now and then. We've seen nothing on Custom Superflat for 11 updates. As far as any, you know, member of the community who looks at one of these changelogs can tell, it's been forgotten about, or it's been decided not to be put in there. And obviously by itself, it's like, well, I mean, okay, you just wait enough time. But here's the deal. In the time where Custom Superflat's been waiting, because I can understand wanting to prioritize foxes. People feel like foxes should be in there because they're on Java. You know, like, I can just about understand that. I can understand some of these features for accessibility too. But when there are a bunch of features being made for map makers, which, you know, map makers are an integral part of Mojang's business. You make 30% on every single map sold, right? When plus the platform holder fee, but we'll discount that for now. So when you know, map making is the key part of your business model, you know, you're trying to sell to people, you know, in a game that previously didn't have microtransactions, that's fine if you don't prioritize that map making ecosystem over the promises that were previously made. Because here's the thing, right? If you allow custom superflats into the game, that allows people to make their own content. And from the outside looking in, the way this actually looks is that you know, allowing people to make content for other people, allowing people to make maps which you know, can be enjoyed for a price by other people, that has taken a priority in every update. You know, whether it's 1.7, whether it's 1.9, whether it's 1.12, 1.13 even, map making is the key major thing in every single update. But I think that you shouldn't be focusing on, you know, like as a company, focusing on things that make you money is important. But on the other hand, when there are promises that are unkept, I think they take priority. I think that at least some amount of progress should be shown on custom superflats. And you might say, well, I mean, you know, what does it really matter? Like, it was a promise made so long ago. Why did, you know, like, people don't want it now. When was the last time you heard people ask for custom superflats? So I decided to check on the Minecraft feedback website to get a good example, because in this update we saw structure blocks, which are a, you know, thing which are missing from Java, a Java parity issue. They're one that it's one that's useful for map makers, whereas of course having custom superflats would be really useful for people who want to make their own content, play their own survival challenges, stuff like that. So in that particular case, I was like, okay, let's see how many people asked for the custom superflats versus how many people asked for the structure block. So the most you know, upvoted you know, up post on the feedback website for the you know, structure block had 50 upvotes. The most upvoted post for the custom superflats had 500 separate upvotes. And it's been 2 years now, over a year since that thing was posted. We've heard nothing. We haven't heard the slightest bit of progress. And here's the deal. Again, but as an isolated incident, it's like, yeah, well, I mean, it takes time to develop, but every single feature from Java that allows people to make their own fun content seems to come missing here on Bedrock. And I don't understand why it is, besides, you know, like, oh yeah, we prioritize map making because that is where the profit is at. Because think about it, right? Like, buffet features, you know, a world generation option from Minecraft Java never came to Bedrock, never even got like a word on when it might be coming. Amplified, you know, a way to make better worlds for yourself, you know, it was such an old Java feature that people love. It came to console and it never came to Bedrock. Custom superflats, another feature that allows you to have more fun in your own worlds. These features seem not to be coming, and I don't know if this is a community decision. You think that the community wants maps over the ability to make their own content, but people, you know, again, at least in the community of people that I follow, people prefer the option to be able to make their own survival content. Like, you know, playing survival is, you know, the thing that makes Minecraft great, the unique game mode in it, is the fact that you survive in these worlds that you build, and the fact that you can, you know, the challenge that comes of that, and the fact that there has been not a single you know, like real, you know, major update to that beyond just the basic things expected from the Java, like in terms of, you know, again, foxes are coming, but what about, you know, what about the, you know, the more important feature of custom superflats? What about all these things that would allow people to make their own fun things, their own great worlds for free? Because right now, all these map making features, if you're a player who can't spend money on Minecraft or doesn't or chooses not to, then you don't get to enjoy these features unless you decide to make your own maps, which, you know, most people, statistically speaking, don't make maps for the enjoyment of other people to download and to pay for. So yeah, it seems to me like there is a huge priority being put towards features which aren't, you know, directly enjoyed by a lot of the community. And I understand why there's a profit motive to need to do them at some point, but I think that promises should be kept first. I think that things regarding, you know, parity, things regarding promises from the past, that should take priority over, you know, this huge list of, you know, map making changes. That should take priority over the structure block, which again, it's a fun thing to play around with, but you know what would be way more fun to play around with? custom superflats, amplified, buffet world generation, any of these things, even just like large biomes and biome generation, customization or whatever, like there are so many basic things that would allow the worlds that you make yourself to be more enjoyable. And I think it always should be remembered that that's what Minecraft is ultimately about. This, the map making community is a fun part of Minecraft. It's a key part of Minecraft. I have a lot of friends who make maps, but that doesn't mean it's the only part of Minecraft. And it's not even the largest part of Minecraft, not by a long shot. So yeah, that's why, I just wanted to get this rant off my chest. We need to hear an update on any of the above things that I mentioned, rather than, seeing all these different map making changes, which, again, I can understand there are some people asking for, and it's cool for those people, but what about people who have been waiting for 2 years now, since 1.2, 10 updates now, and haven't heard a single peep regarding Amplified, haven't heard a single peep regarding custom superflats? It seems to them like they've been lied to, and that, again, as one of those people, that hurts. That's something I'd like to see a response to. I don't know if I will, but yeah, I hope you'll enjoy today's video. I need to get that off my chest because, again, I love the ability that Minecraft is this endless game where you can do anything you want all the time. You can, make your own content, your own entertainment. People love the, all the different challenges that you could do using custom superflats on, console edition. If you look at my videos, I think recently the Bedrock challenge hit something like 2 million views. You might say, well, I mean, of course you like that you get views on those things, but that shows that people are enjoying the idea of these challenges. The fact that even in a game disconnected from the internet, even in a game without any friends there, you can make your own content to enjoy by yourself. And I think, the loner aspect of Minecraft is something that is underappreciated. And if you think it is too, please do sign the petition, or click the thing to show that you want custom superflats, show that it's not just me and 500 other people and the console edition community, show that you want those superflats too, because I don't know how else to get a response on this one. And yeah, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. I hope that you learned something new or got some update news from it, because I'll see you all in the next video, which, in case you're curious, just a little plug here, is gonna be my new server project. I asked people to build my Let's Play world from scratch based on seeing it. It's a fun little world. I think you'll enjoy seeing that later today, 9 PM UK time, in case you're curious. Go check it out. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.